As usual, almost every single day, I get a question around real estate. Eric, how's the market? What's happening in the real estate market? Well, it really depends on where you are, and that's not just the part of the country. That's not really what city that you're in. Sometimes it comes down to zip codes and even neighborhoods. Real estate is hyper local. What's happening in Seattle isn't happening in Tacoma, and it isn't happening in Olympia. And even some of the smaller towns around, there are interesting behaviors happening all over the place. What I can tell you is that it's a great time to buy. And I know that interest rates right now are a little bit on the higher side, and it's putting some buyers on the sidelines waiting for things to settle down. We've got a war in Iran going on. We've got inflationary costs hitting people in their pocketbooks, and it's making things just a lot more difficult for everyone. But I want you to keep your eye on the prize. If you have been thinking about making a move, have been on the sidelines the last few years, you're kind of unhappy with the general direction of the economy, don't worry about the greater picture. Worry about what's going on in your own life, worry about your goals, and I want you to think about where you're at financially and what it is that you're trying to accomplish. So if you're in the market and you've been kind of thinking about making a move, give me a call. Let's put a plan together. It doesn't have to be this year. It doesn't have to be next year. But what I do think is important is that you get a plan pulled together. So that way you know when to pull the trigger, when's going to be right for you, and what are some of the things you might be thinking about to get yourself ready. I was just chatting with a client yesterday. They're about a year out and they realize there's a lot of work that they need to get done at their house before they're going to be ready to sell and ultimately to purchase. And that's fine. If anything, I love getting ahead of the process with you to kind of find out where you're at, what needs to be done, what are buyers looking for in today's markets, and what are some of the low-cost things that we can do as sellers to attract a buyer to our home. Since there's still some pretty good competition out there, it's still actually a seller's market. 3.5 months of supply here in the Pacific Northwest, that's still traditionally a seller's market, but buyers are oftentimes getting more in today's market than they have in the past. So if you're out there, you're looking, you're thinking about making a change, don't worry about bothering me. Reach out. I'm always happy to pick up my phone, answer a text, and let's grab a coffee. Let's chat about what it is that you're looking to do in the market, because honestly, the Pacific Northwest is always a good decision. I'll let you know what's happening on a hyper-local level, what trends I'm seeing, and how to best set you aside from the competition. If you ever have any other questions, my name's Eric Molson.